Chapter 1. Is it me? Red is an obvious choice for the romantic feeling I wanted to create in the master bedroom of our historic home when we moved in 10 years earlier. A touch of the Middle East, reminders of the adventures we had living in exotic foreign lands, is represented by a hand-woven Turkish harika kilim adorning the wooden floors. When I'm laying on the bed and look up, I see a delicate stencil around the chandelier and along the red beam that bisects the room where a wall once stood some 200 years ago, and I'm grateful for the interest on the ceiling that takes my mind off the cold gulf separating myself from my husband of 25 years. I'd rather not acknowledge the constant reel of questions in my tired brain. What happened? Is it me, him, or us? How can such a romantic environment produce so much ice and loneliness? Why doesn't he want me? Why don't I want him? Do I love him? Is this love? Is this just a valley or a permanent and deteriorating state in our marriage? I'm busy during the day with work and children, but at night it's hard to stop the nagging loneliness pummeling my mind with questions. What do my children see? Even babies understand human interaction. They cry to be held from day one. So how could they not sense the indifference? Some things hold people back from living their best lives, and one of them is a bad marriage. I assume by your reading this book that you've exhausted all possible ways to make your marriage work. You've been to the counselors, read every self-help book you thought might help, and perhaps prayed to your God that you could somehow be a better spouse. You've spent considerable mental energy asking yourself the same questions I have over and over. Is it me or us? Am I not lovable? Do I love my spouse? Or maybe I just don't know what love is. Maybe love is not a feeling, but rather a commitment. What did I mean by for better or worse? If I do get a divorce, am I breaking a solemn oath? Am I just insatiable? Am I asking too much out of life? Am I kidding myself about what is really out there? If I did leave, wouldn't I just go from the frying pan to the fire, eventually ending up right where I started? Would I really be any happier? Maybe my unhappiness has nothing to do with my spouse, and it's really all about who I am. All in all, I have a good life. Why would I want to disrupt everything for pie-in-the-sky romance? Isn't the thought of divorce pure selfishness? If I am the mother I think I am, shouldn't I tough it out for the kids? You may have read or heard information and statistics about marriage and divorce. Some may have been factual or just opinion. Either way, the information I gathered made it harder for me to come to conclusions about my true feelings. When I heard that a high percent of couples who got divorced were no happier 10 years later, or that couples who decided to stay together were happily married 10 years later, I felt hopeful that staying married would result in the marriage I desired. When I read about the traumatic effects of divorce on children and the poverty rates of divorced women, I became afraid of divorce. When experts said that the modern couple is simply incapable of commitment and selfish, I strengthened my resolve to be committed and selfless. Statistics and impressions can confuse our thinking. In the world of Google, you can research and end up more confused. If you use Google to help make up your mind, be sure to plug in the right questions, but don't let statistics keep you in a bad place.